What is going on? What is going on? Ooh, I'm a little sweating up in here. It's getting cold up in here out here in Ohio and all that good stuff. And I'm sweating like a pig up in here. But what's good with your dog? I'm with my dog, Mike White. We're doing our burgers and blitzes tonight on Thursday with this whack ass Eagles and Giants playing right now. But what's good with you, big dog?
Man, I am watching Carson Wentz play terrible football, and I'm sweating in this hot-ass room. So you think it's hot where you're at. And actually decided to get 90 degrees today in the middle of October. What the hell's going on?
That's what I'm bugging out on. I'm like, hold up. It was cool and everything. I'm sweating like a motherfucker up in here. But that's all right. We're about to see what's going on later on. But let me give a few shout-outs to some people in the feed before we get going, big dog. Shout out to my kid Roscoe T Smooth TV, Aaron Lewis, Jessica. What's up with you? Sheila.
Oh, Sheila.
My girl Sheila. And then let's see what we got over here. You give me one little second right here, big dog. And then we're gonna talk some Cowboys football, man. And some things gotta change. Some things got to change, dog. JR Perez, what's up, man? But yeah, man. So, we saw the Monday night, I don't know if you want to call it debacle, because I didn't really think the Cowboys were going to win that game. I didn't want to come out and say it. I just kept saying I didn't feel good about the game. So when I say I don't feel good about the game, that means I don't feel like we're going to win the game. And it ended up turning out kind of what I thought, but at the end of the day, it really just killed me. Kyler Murray completed 9 passes for 188 yards, and still they dropped 38 points on us, man. That's wild.
Negative 24.5% completion percentage over expectations.
That's just wild, man. Like
he finished the game with negative 14.5, which is the worst completion percentage over expectation of any winning quarterback in the NFL this year.
But we all know, though, Mike, that whenever a team plays Dallas, you're going to set records. So if you a guy that's you've never done anything, if you come play Dallas, you will do something. That's why I'm worried about Kyle Allen playing against us because I don't think he's a good He's an okay quarterback, but you know what? He'd be the day that he dropped 400. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But Kenyon Drake goes for over 160. They run for 261 yards on us. As we said, Danny Dalton comes in at the first full game with Dak Prescott being out. I said early in the week, we talked about it ourselves. You can't have Andy Dalton throw 50 times a game and think you're going to win the damn game. He threw over 50 times for only 266 yards, 2 interceptions. Kind of what's your quick synopsis of that Cardinals game in your opinion?
That it may not be a popular opinion, but you could have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
You could have won that game. So I know this is excusing away, if this wasn't that and this wasn't that, but if Zeke doesn't put the ball on the ground 2 times, they don't get 14 points immediately off of those fumbles. On that pass interference, it wasn't a pass interference. So CeeDee Lamb got form tackled in the middle of the field going into the red zone, and the ball got picked off. If they go down there and score, the game is now 10-7 instead of 21-3?
Right, and remember Michael Gallup dropped that touchdown.
That was later.
But
yeah,
that was still a key. We were driving. That was right before halftime, and you get that. You feel a little better about yourself if you score that touchdown.
And I love Michael Gallup, love my heart. I'm COO of the Michael Gallup Hive. But if Michael Gallup was your wide receiver 1 and you force fed him, he would have about 1,100 yards on a 56% completion percentage because he doesn't have easy hands. That unfortunately, even the fantastic plays he makes on the sidelines, it bounces off his shoulder pad, he catches it off a helmet, he bobbles it to his left hand, and he gets a butt cheek in as soon as right before he goes out. It's never really an easy catch for that guy. It seems, unfortunately.
Right. It seems like that's why some people. I don't try to compare him to Dez. Shout out to Dez for getting on the practice squad with the Baltimore Ravens. Shout out to him. But I don't try to compare him to Dez. But Dez it reminds me of that because Dez would make the hardest ass catches. And then the easiest ones he would drop. And
it's that Alvin Harper shit. You got to be put in the air. turn back 180 and getting hit, and it got an alligator.
It's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be tricky as hell for him to get it. If it's easy as hell, it's like, oh, this shit too easy. I just dropped that. Oh damn. You know what I mean?
It's like they short circuit at the last minute, and they can't. It's like, oh, this is too easy. I don't know what's going on.
Man, it's all bad. And like you said, the Cowboys had a chance to win that game, just like they had in all the other games. But once again, we shoot ourselves in the foot. Yes, we turn the ball over, 4 turnovers in the game. I mean, that's not winning football. So let me get a pulse, because we're going to talk about right now. I don't want to go too hard, because I know you're watching that game, but I don't want to go too hard about this. But let's talk about this. Players in the locker room now talking.
Carson Wentz just threw a dime to the New York defense. I'm sorry, bud.
I mean, this is why we have a chance in the division. This is why we have a chance in the division. You feel me?
Yeah, you tried Bradbury, the one defensive player they got that's worth a damn. He just went up and snagged your ball. Anyway, I'm sorry. Back.
No, you good. You good. Like I said, we've been hearing about the players in the locker room. You made some comments on it on your Twitter.
Yes, sir.
Some players that came out anonymously saying all the coaches don't know what the hell they're doing anonymously. We don't know where it comes from.
Brandon Carr.
Sean Lee, said some things about it. Jalen Smith comes out and says, put a name on it. Mike McCarthy comes out and says, hey, I don't really listen to it if it's anonymous. You feel me? That's why I don't hate on McCarthy. You feel me? I still don't hate on McCarthy.
Hey, James, your mic's blowing out a little bit, bub.
Am I good now?
You're blowing. Turn your gain down just a touch.
Okay. Am I better now?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah,
right.
It was Brandon Carr. Brandon Carr got into it with Al Harris. And Brandon Carr and Jane Slater are tight. And she got told some information, and it may have been an offensive player too, because there's some offensive stuff they're doing that doesn't necessarily make sense. There's some offensive stuff they were doing last season that doesn't really make sense. But I thought it might have been Everson Griffin, but he don't know Jane like that. They never even spoke. But her and Brandon Carr, Brandon Carr has been on their podcast. And not to throw any dirt, he probably they bumped heads a little bit, and that is what it is. And it may not even be as nefarious as it sounds. I know it's like a text message. It could have been a text message exchange, and when you send somebody a text, there's no inflection, there's no context or anything like that. So when you get a text and then you send that out and then it gets spun up into the media, it brings on a whole other life. And it doesn't really, at the end of the day, Stephen Jones, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who said it. The fact of the matter is it got said, and it got said enough that it got picked up by the team, and the team had to address it. And I'm watching this team, and I'm watching the 22 because I got Game Pass, because anybody with a working credit card can have it. It's not special privileges.
Right.
You're watching dudes, Daryl Worley stands flat-footed while the wide receiver runs a go route right past him. Jalen Smith doesn't fill the right gap. Everson Griffin plays two-step with the in-line tight end that's one up on him. That's not coaching. It doesn't matter who your coach is. That's effort and that's talent. That has nothing to do with the scheme. Oh, this is too hard, or this or that or the other. Well, you know what? Alabama runs a pretty damn complex defensive scheme, and those kids take 30 credit hours per semester, and they still get the defense down all right. And you're supposed to be a professional athlete.
I totally agree. And you know what, Big Dog? The thing that kills me about it is that these players Mike McCarthy comes out and said, hey, after week 2 of the Atlanta game, we dumbed it down and simplified it and made it easy. And we're still having these issues. And like you said, when I watched the all 22 and when I watched the tape, that's not scheme. When you have a flip touchdown to Christian Kirk on the end zone, you're not hedging. You have guys that are not setting the edge. Everson Griffin does not set the edge. He keeps
Everson Griffin
coming
might
in.
as well. Hey, can we move Everson Griffin to the offensive tackle?
I mean,
He's damn good at setting the, he's damn good at setting the edge on the offense.
On the offense, because it's sitting there. I don't know why he keeps trying to peeling inside. He keeps peeling inside when he's supposed to set the edge.
And gets caught up.
Gets caught up every single time. And I'm like, why does he keep doing that? Now, I'm keeping it real. I'll be thinking like he might be one of the people saying something because he was already frustrated. But you keep on doing. He's on. I'm thinking the people that are saying this in the locker room, that if besides Brandon Carr, if there was anybody in the locker room, would people be on expiring deals, on 1-year deals, or you came from another organization and you haven't been with the Cowboys because it's easier.
And your talent slipping and you're upset about it, like Daryl Worley get caught flat-footed. But it just seems weird that Daryl Worley and Jane Slater would even have a conversation. I don't even think they have any type of repertoire. But, you know, if you go back and look, you know, the little bit of training camp clips that we got, every single one of them going deep was Daryl Worley getting put on a damn poster.
Yes.
Every single one of them.
That's the truth.
And we only got, what, like 9? And 8 of them were fucking Daryl Worley getting 8 up.
I mean, I hate to disagree with you, dog, but when we saw those long passes, when we saw CeeDee Lamb cooking, it was on Daryl Worley.
Yeah. And Daryl Worley with a nice effort, but CeeDee Lamb made the catch. Well, of course he did, because he's young Lamb, and that's what young Lamb does. And young Lamb doesn't fall down in the middle of the damn field on a cross route, but I'm not going to get upset. That
was a game changing type play.
Yes.
But you know what? At the end of the day, big dog, I'm gonna just keep it real. Like, regardless if he was interfered or not, I didn't feel like the Dallas defense was gonna stop Kyler Murray. Regardless, no. I didn't feel like I just felt like eventually they were gonna penetrate and get through, because I don't know, dog. It's crazy. Like, here's my thing, okay? We had Marinelli, who was here, right? And I think he played to some strengths of like DeMarcus Lawrence and those guys. Okay, now it's a new system. What do you think do you think anything can change this as far as the defensive side of the football? Because every team besides the Rams have dropped over 30 points against us, big dog. And now you got the Washington Redskins, who don't have any offense to speak of. They got Terry McLaurin. We know that, Scary Terry, but they don't have anybody to speak of. What can happen with this defense?
They don't have any defensive tackles. They don't have any defensive tackles, and they don't have any safeties. In this passing league, unfortunately, as much as Stephen Jones hates safeties and hates defensive tackles, if you do not have either one of those, you can get by possibly without one, but you can't have neither. You have to have some form of interior pressure, and you have to have somebody that can break up a pass over the deep seam.
Right, and also, just watching Buda Baker, didn't it make you jealous?
If I could screen share, I would show you my draft chart where I had a 2nd round grade on the dude. So, and
we don't have any kind of game-changing players. Like, maybe we don't have any game-changing players. We got good players. We don't have but we don't have on the defense. When we look at the defense, we don't have game-changing players that when they get every single play, that this player can make a play. Now, I would say the closest person would be D-Law, but I'm just saying.
You remember our first show where I didn't want to pay the guy in the first place?
Yeah. If I'm looking across the board though, big dog, who else would it be? As far as the game changer.
Diggs, maybe, but he's a rookie. He's a
rookie corner.
There's a rookie corners, and I seen PFF light up Diggs. They were like, "Oh, duds of the week is trending down." The dude allowed 1 catch on 6 targets to DeAndre Hopkins, and one of them was a blown coverage because he thought his safety was going to be over the top of it. And guess what? You don't get to have safety help when you're a Cowboys cornerback. That's not how it works around here.
Mm-hmm.
People ran Byron Jones out of town. Oh, he can't get picks. You know why? Because he has to play press coverage, because if he gives any sort of give on this route, that ball's going home. There's nobody back there. There's Jeff East over there playing la-di-da, and Xavier Woods is covering up for fucking Jalen Smith. Every cornerback in this league that has a good year has solid defensive tackle play and a if not an all-pro, at least of what you would call a Pro Bowl safety backing him up. Period.
Well, how do you feel about they said Sean Lee and Cheeto are about to come back? What do you feel about that?
I'm so happy. Like, people wanted to run Cheeto off. Let's move Cheeto to safety. Dude, Cheeto had a better year last year than Jalen Ramsey. He had a 57% completion percentage on a year. He got dinged on a couple unfortunate absolute dimes from Russell Wilson. Absolute monstrous dimes that ruined his yardage and big play percentage. But he's your best corner. Period. You didn't want to sign Byron Jones because he doesn't get turnovers, but you signed Ezekiel Elliott because apparently he does create turnovers.
Right. Well, that's a whole nother story. So we get Cheeto back. How do you feel about Sean Lee coming back? So Sean Lee comes back. Do you move a Joe Thomas to the bench if Sean Lee is active and available, or do you? I'm
running Sean Lee and Joe Thomas out there.
Okay,
and then rotate.
But they're not going to bench Jalen Smith.
They won't, but they should.
Right, but that's not going to happen.
No, that's the same reason they didn't bench Zeke. People, they benched Zeke. No, Zeke tapped himself out the same way he always does. Zeke didn't get benched. He set out the third series like he always does. He didn't get benched at all.
What's up, Ready Red? Just like shooter. What's up, Ready Red? Gambino. What's up with y'all, dog? Happy. Yeah, and here's the thing, though, Big Dog. Like, remember how Cheeto was much maligned? Now I can't wait to get him back. I can't wait to get him back because we need him.
The hamstring must have been bad.
The hamstring must have been bad, but these.
Was it week 8? You know, I mean, he got hurt in the second quarter of the Atlanta game.
Man, so going forward, let's not even talk about that Arizona game because we kind of already knew what it was. We kind of already knew what that game was going to be. But let's go into this Washington game. Dallas is 2-4, 1-0 in the division. We're going into this Washington game. Brandon Knight is out. Cam Irvin is probably going to start at the left tackle position. Now you got Cam Irvin, who got hurt instantly in the Rams game. And then you got Terrence Steele going against Montez Sweat and Chase Young. And then you still got Deron Payne and Allen in that middle. You still got Kerrigan out there. They got a cornerback, I can't remember, Kendall Fuller, who's got 4 interceptions the last 3 games. He's balling out.
He's a Marcus Peters, so he's a route jumper. You can catch him. You can catch him.
And we know how Andy Dalton tries to throw them out, and that arm ain't strong, and you can peel him off and take one to the house. So let's talk about the offensive side of the ball. I just mentioned those guys that they have on defense. We're in flux. We don't even know if Zach Martin is going to play at the right guard because he's still in concussion protocol. So let's just say he doesn't play. You got Steele, McGovern, Biadish, Williams, and Cam Irving against this defensive front. What is your thoughts on how this offense should roll going into Washington? What will be the offensive game plan to go against this defense?
If you want to win the game, I would start Poverty Romo. I would start Danucci.
Really? Well, that's not going to happen, though, Big Dog. You know that guy not going to do that. So give me the game plan for Dalton. I feel what you're saying, but give me the game plan for Dalton.
You're going to have to move. You're not going to have time. And Andy Dalton can't move. Andy Dalton, he hears Fortunate Son and choppers and smoke signals and flares and shit in the background when he gets pressured. He's like miles worse than Goff has ever thought about when being pressured. He absolutely cannot handle it. So if you want to have a chance, maybe a chance at winning this game, you're gonna have to start the Nuge, or you're gonna run play action every snap, which you're not gonna do. They're gonna put the ball back in Zeke's hands because that's what the Jones boys want. They're run truthers, and if he fumbles a couple times, which he probably will, because the kid's so far in his own head right now, it actually makes you sad. It really does. Play action, short crossers to CeeDee Lamb, let him get some yak. You're gonna have to
It's going to be a low-scoring game.
You're going to have to Kyle Shanahan them. You're going to have to do your and what sucks is we don't have the personnel to even Kyle Shanahan them, because when we try to run a wide receiver screen, like we think CeeDee Lamb's one of the best blocking wide receivers. He probably is the best blocking wide receiver to come out of the draft, and he completely whiffed on that screen they ran last week and got the whole thing blown up. You know, it's like we don't get the run the plays that the other quote unquote smart teams do. So I don't know what the hell we're going to do.
And you know what's so weird about it? That we run those plays, we be sitting back and saying, why don't we run some of those plays like these other teams? And then when we run them, we fail miserably. Like, we fail miserably in them. It's like, why do we fail when we try to do a bubble screen? These other teams do a bubble screen, and they get 10, 15 yards. Cowboys do a bubble screen, we get -3. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand that part. But I got a question for you, Big Dog, because I got one of my guys, Reddy Red's got a question. He said, why haven't we seen Robinson? And he says he will even bring up Chris Westery. What's your thoughts on Robinson? Why hasn't he got any time?
That's a damn good question. Because I
like the Parker kid. What do you think about the Parker? I like Parker.
Play somebody. What you're playing is not working. And you know, and now the season's lost. You're not winning. The season's lost. Every game you win from this point on, unfortunately, and I'm Team Tank, quote unquote, but I love draft season. Unfortunately, every game you win takes you further away from a higher draft stock. Your team has no business in the playoffs. Andy Dalton has no business in the playoffs. Andy Dalton, if this team was completely healthy, and you had all your offensive linemen, you had all your defense, you had everybody, and Dak went down. Andy Dalton has no business in the playoffs. He's shown you that. He's shown you that time and time and time again. He's got a 6-to-1 ENT to TD ratio in the playoffs.
Like, let's keep it real. Do we really think we're going to win a championship with Dalton?
No. And sadly, some people do. Some people were openly calling for Andy Dalton to start the season when we signed him. Like, you need your head examined. You need your voting privileges revoked. You need to take your driver's license test again. We may need to check your social security number. I don't understand what people see in this guy. He's always been a choke artist. That's what he's been. He always has been. He always will be. He buckles under pressure. He can't read the middle of the field. He has trouble throwing out routes because he has a poop noodle, and he has turnover issues. He's always had that. And
I totally agree with you, Big Dog. I live out here in Ohio, so I be trying to tell these people when they was trying to hype Andy Dalton up, I said, dog, he ain't never been nothing. The Bengals tried to hype him up when they drafted him, and I knew he was nothing. He was nothing but a system guy over at TCU. He never had an arm. I remember all them times he used to underthrow and AJ Green. AJ Green used to be pissed off at him. I would see him get mad as hell.
You just check down to the linebacker what he's trying to do on his first pass. And I see your comment, Mandy. I know you're fully healthy. Dalton is a decent quarterback. Yes, he is. He's a decent quarterback. You know what a decent quarterback does? Decent quarterback loses in the wild card round.
Right. So it's the point. Right.
That's what a decent quarterback does. A decent quarterback with an all-pro defense and special teams gets you San Francisco last year where he go to the Super Bowl and he had one easy pass to win the game and he choked on it. That's what a decent quarterback does for you. He gets you just close enough to break your damn heart. Yeah,
and see, that's the dilemma. Andy Dalton is not taking us to a championship. I'm sorry.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, but he's not taking us to a Super Bowl, dog. And he's not winning the Super Bowl. Let's keep it real. He's not. Let's keep it real. I know people don't want to say tank, and I'm not even on that. But at the end of the day, Andy Dalton is not going to take you to a Super Bowl. So if he's not going to take you to a Super Bowl, and let's say he wins some games, it's going to still hurt you in the draft because he wins.
Every game loses draft position. Every single win you do loses draft position. Period. And but you're in the ideal situation right now. You have a franchise quarterback, assuming they're not stupid enough to let the dude walk away.
Well,
you have a franchise quarterback, and you have potential top 8, top 10 draft stock, which means you are in the pilot seat. If somebody wants to trade up, or you want to take one of the quote-unquote best players, like when Isaiah Simmons fell. And I know Isaiah Simmons ain't doing too well in Arizona, but they're playing him an inside linebacker. He was never an inside linebacker. He's a free safety / outside linebacker / middle linebacker, and they're playing him an inside, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Mm-hmm.
When the dude like that falls to you and you're sitting there at 108, you're like, shit, yes. That is CD, but higher up.
Yeah. Well, I got my guy right here, Tariq Salim. Shout out to you for the $2 holla donation. Appreciate you, big dog. He says Kellen Moore is the problem. What's your thoughts about that?
How's Kellen Moore the problem? Kellen Moore.
That's why I don't believe that either. I don't think
Kellen Moore had the most efficient offense in the NFL last year.
The last 2 years.
Even working underneath Jason Garrett, he had the most efficient offense in the NFL. And people want to bring up garbage times, this, that, and the other. In a neutral game skip, the Dallas Cowboys had 10.2 average yards to go on every down and were 58% completion success rate, which was number 1 in the NFL. Kellen Moore is not the problem. Your offensive line, people are saying, oh, we want to run misdirection. You could run play action. That's fine. They want to run misdirection. We want to do this. When you have an offensive line that met each other yesterday, you can't do stuff like that. When you have the offensive line like San Francisco, when you have the offensive line like Cleveland, you can run these misdirection, these off tackle plays and get stuff done because guys can reach their blocks.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, just now, I got a couple questions from some of the people in the feed, Mike.
Yes, sir.
One of these, okay, we was talking about Dontari Poe. Justin Hamilton came in there and gave some good ass reps, didn't he?
Dontari Poe should have been cut 6 weeks ago.
So Justin Hamilton should get them reps because he looked okay in there.
Yes. Justin Hamilton was fantastic. He was fantastic.
He was aggressive. He was gritty.
It sounded like the dude was Aaron Donald, but he
was aggressive.
He was sitting out in front of the Home Depot waiting on a job 3 weeks ago, and you pulled him up, and he was your best defensive tackle in that game.
Right, and he's got some. And Justin Hamilton is bigger than I thought he was. He had some good size.
Big boy. So, that's what sucks. You should have been running that dude out with Tristan Hill all along.
Right. But you know what? The name. It's the name.
It's the name.
It's the name. It's the name.
It's the Earl Thomas thing. It's the name a guy. It's people love names. And Dontari Poe's coming off of an injury and a down year, and the dude is playing lighter than Malik Collins. I just don't understand. Tariq, Kellen Moore doesn't choke in the red zone. The Cowboys choke in the red zone because their offensive play design, and it's been that way since 2006.
Right.
They've had 3 years inside the top 10 of red zone offense, and 2 of them were when Romo was peaking, and then 2017 when they didn't even have 2015 when they didn't even have a quarterback, and Darren McFadden got 1,500 all-purpose yards. Red zone offense is not indicative of your overall offensive success. It's not.
Yeah, and that's true facts. And if you really go look at the stats, Dallas is damn good in the red zone.
Yes, they are.
Prior to this Arizona game, they were one of the tops in the league in red zone efficiency and scored in red zone touchdowns.
Because Dak Prescott is the most efficient red zone weapon in the NFL. Period. He has 60. Well, I think it's 66 attempts inside the red zone for 25 touchdowns.
Okay, but so you mentioned up something. So let's say Cowboys are 3-13. Well, what's our record? 2-4.
Yeah.
So let's say they're 4-12.
I think 1 or 2 more wins is exactly feasible.
Let's say we go 4-12, right? And there's a quarterback available like Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. Let's say he comes out. Would you? Because I heard what you said. Now, if one of those young guys are out, and Dallas has that, do you think the Cowboys are going to sign a Dak Prescott, or do you think they're going to ride with one of those young guys? Because I don't think – here's my thing, big dog. I've been hearing Stephen Jones saying, oh, well, we got to make sure everything is for the pie for everybody else, and everybody else this and everybody else that.
Yeah, that's why you signed 2 linebackers.
Exactly. But do you really think that the Cowboys will sign a Dak Prescott? Because you know he going to cost, dog. You know he going to cost. And they're already talking about tagging him. Do you really think they're going to sign him to a long-term deal if they're 4-12? Keep it real. I don't think they're going to do it, big dog. They're going to use that excuse. They're going to say everything in the media right now because it sounds so damn good. But let us be 4-12 and one of them top quarterbacks be out, and they already balking about not paying Dak, big dog.
Man, I would like to think they would.
I don't believe them.
Me either.
I don't believe them. I believe they will go that other route.
I think it's a them problem. It's a them problem. They don't know. They have a problem with quarterback talent evaluation.
No, they have a problem with evaluation, period. We just saw the Seattle Seahawks and Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. Say it. No, just say it, because Baltimore Ravens, Seattle Seahawks, these other teams that stay aggressive as shit, and then Dallas want to – and here's the thing what Dallas does. They'll go sign some people to shut the fans up because they be listening. They listen to fans start chirping and get real loud, and they worry about sales and this and that. Okay, let's go ahead and sign somebody. Remember Michael Bennett? You know, they weren't really trying to go after no damn Michael Bennett, but that was for people to shut up because they said, "Oh, we ain't got a defensive tackle." Okay, let's go ahead and get Michael Bennett for y'all to shut up. I feel like they get shut up signings. That's what I'm gonna call them, shut up signings. They get a signing for the Cowboys fans to shut up.
Yeah, and man, I'm trying not to be. I was trying not to be.
No, just say it.
This team doesn't have a chance with Stephen Jones running it.
No, you know it. We and just like we talked about
Stephen Jones.
We talked about this.
We thought Stephen Jones was a lot at the tunnel.
We thought
he was a fucking train.
We thought
just a train.
We thought, and we got fooled. I got fooled a little bit because I was excited because I was like, because I said in 2017 we would never win another Super Bowl under Jerry Jones. I said the only time we have a chance is Stephen Jones. And now that I'm watching Stephen, I'm like, we in trouble.
It's such a low-hanging fruit to say. It
is. You don't want to use that as the thing to come out your mouth. But as I said before, Mike, but after Jimmy Johnson left, and I'm not even trying to go back that far. I don't even want to go back that far. But let's look at it, though, big dog. Since he left, Dallas has 24 years. They have 14 missed playoff appearances, okay? 14 missed playoff appearances. 7 different coaches, including Mike McCarthy, right? And only 4 playoff wins. We can't sit there and say it's the coach every single year because Chan Gailey had a winning record with Dallas. Didn't win nothing.
That said, it was the coach in 2014, it was the coach in 2016, and it was the coach in 2018. But you know who enabled the coach? Not Stephen Jones. Jason Garrett and Stephen Jones are like this. They're best friends. They're best friends. They go on vacation together. They spend Thanksgiving together. They'll probably, if Jason Garrett's in New York, they'll probably still spend Thanksgiving together. They are that close. Stephen Jones talked Jerry Jones out of firing Jason Garrett in the tunnel of the LA loss in the playoffs. Talk him out of it. He was madder than hell. He was and then they brought that lame ass coach back for another year and wasted the most talented roster this team's had since what? I can't remember, man. Maybe 2012. I don't know. 2012. It's absolutely insane. And then, and then you come out this year and the offense puts the ball on the ground. You got fumbling issues, you got drop issues, and people want to blame the offense. Like the offense is the only reason you had a chance in these games, and they put you in a deficit early, but your defense can't make up for a turnover to save their life. And it's just man, it's
frustrating. I see the look on your face. It's frustrating as hell. Now I got a question from Cam Riddle in the chat. He says that if the Cowboys lose to these Washington football team, do any head roll?
I think Mike Nolan gets fired.
You think Mike Nolan gets fired? Do he get fired if it's a close game, or does he get fired like if they kind of really get at us?
It depends on how that close game is. Depends on how that close game is. If the defense kept you in it and the offense couldn't put 7 on the board, and you lose 6-0, some shit like that might be a different conversation. But Mike Nolan's already hanging on by a thread. And and that's what worries me. They brought in Mike McCarthy brought in Mike Davis. He brought in Mike Nolan, Rob Davis. He brought in Mike Nolan. You brought in these guys who were supposed to make. You got Davis in here. He's supposed to be a life coach. He's supposed to be an organizer and all this. Why is the fucking team falling apart 6 games into the season, dude?
Yeah, and that's I wanted to bring that up. I'm glad you. That's a great segue because I was already thinking about that in my head. Is that did maybe Mike McCarthy get too old of a staff, too old of a guys that were maybe out of touch? Because you just said that, and we brought Rob Davis and how the locker room is very important. 6 games in, you're already having locker room issues, and a lot of these guys that are on the staff, Philbin over, he old. I'm not hating. He old. Tom Sula. A lot of these guys on the staff are old. Are they kind of out of touch with some of these guys?
I don't know if out of touch. I think Tom Sula is a good coach. I think Tom Sula's in the perfect role. Honestly, I think you have an issue with your secondary coach, and you have an issue with your DC.
So let's say Mike Nolan gets his head rolled. I got a question from my guy Manny Ramos. He says, "So who takes over?" So let's say if Mike Nolan, let's say we're not wishing this, but if it does happen, you lose to Washington, you play a bad game. Mike Nolan, let's say they remove him. Who do you think is the guy that takes over the defense?
Wade Phillips, buddy.
You don't think they go with George Edwards, who they brought in from Minnesota? You think they go out the box and go ahead and go after Wade Phillips or something like that happens?
You got to go out of house. You got to go out of house. The house is broken. House is broken. I don't know. You know, I know there's a talent issue, and I know there's a but the effort issue and stuff like that on that defense is inexcusable.
Mm-hmm. And to, like I said, to Marinelli's credit, and those guys, we never had that problem with the effort issue. We did, have some. Go ahead, talk to me.
Can I? Yeah. This is a result of this franchise being ran by an inept head coach for a decade, and you're dealing with the unraveling. You do not get to fix a decade of ineptitude in 6 months of an offseason where you didn't even get an offseason, and you met everybody. They met up August 19th or some shit like that. And played a game in the next 3 weeks. You don't get to undo all of that. All of this generic vanilla ham sandwich, honey mustard to spicy organization that Jason Garrett had instilled on this team. You don't get to wipe that funk off of you in such a short amount of time. That's why I'm trying to give these dudes a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, there's certain stuff you're asking these guys to do that just doesn't work.
Right. And you know what? Here's the thing. Mike McCarthy doesn't have his guys. He's taking over Jason Garrett's guys. So he's basically doesn't have his players. He's coaching Jason Garrett's players. He doesn't have his guys. It's kind of like if you're a college coach and a guy, has been there 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Let's say 10 years. He's been a guy. You get fired, you have his recruits, you have his players. You don't have your guys.
Like they don't talk about Dungy won with Gruden's team, and Switzer won with Jerry's team, Jimmy's team, and this, that, and the other. How come it's not the same going the opposite end of the street? How come you can't adhere to Trash Monster and still the other coach get blamed for the Trash Monster? You're supposed to fix this Trash Monster in 6 months of time when the dude's been building it for 10 years.
Right. Now I got a quick question from my guy Gambino. He says, "Can you ask Mike if we make a trade before the deadline?" Which I ain't gonna think that's gonna happen.
Quinn Williams.
Who from the Jets?
Yes. I do not want to make a trade for a this year move.
It's got a future move. It's got to be somebody who's staying with the squad.
I don't want that Roy Williams.
Right.
I don't want that Amari Cooper. The only reason they traded for Amari Cooper is because attendance and ratings started dropping.
Because people was chirping.
That's
when they make the moves, though, Mike. They've been doing that. They make those moves when the Cowboys fans, like you said, when the sales start dropping and Cowboys fans start chirping really hard and really loud. That's when they make a move. Like I said, the Cowboys make shut-up moves.
That Amari Cooper move was ill-advised, and I don't care how anybody wants to spin it. You were a bad team, and you went on a miracle run because you have a bad fucking ass quarterback that they didn't give any credit for that year. And they're not going to do that. So you go, and if the Jets, they're already talking about they're happy for a 2 for Quinn Williams. Well, your 2 is going to be inside most likely the top 40, if not the top 45. That's damn good. That's damn good stock for that guy. And the Jets got a long road to hoe because Adam Gase is not going to be that coach next season. Period. He's just not. And the way OU's going, they may have Lincoln Riley. So that's another conversation. But Quentin Williams is a trade I would make. If I was going to make a trade, that's the one I would make. Unless you're going to try to sell some of these guys off, which I don't know how the hell you can do that. Because what you gave up for them is more than what they're worth at the moment.
Well, I want to ask you one thing right quick. And as I said before, this is why to me it's fundamentally broken. Okay? And we all talk about this, and I don't want to beat the head, but it's just the truth. Just like when we mentioned, hey, if they would make a trade, let's get Quentin Williams. But here's the problem. We have an owner who is 78 years old now, I think. Yeah. He's still the general manager. He's still the president. So basically what he is saying, I had Anthony Wright on the show, former quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. He said Jerry Jones used to sit in the quarterback meetings, used to give advice, used to have notepads, see, here's the thing. If you want to be all the way involved in that, go ahead.
I gotta be all right. Sorry, but
okay. He got to run the restroom right quick. But my thing is this: if you are the president, the owner, and the general manager of an organization, how is anybody ever going to be able to really have input when you still have control of everything? You are basically still saying, I am the football man. Because if you're the owner, if you're the president and the general manager, you are saying, I am the football guy. That ain't just the money. Yeah, the general manager makes money decisions. President, yes. But he still is involved and he's still imprinting his finger in things. My thing is that if you have an owner that is still having his imprint on every single thing and he's almost 80 years old, he is still saying he's a football guy. Every time you listen to Jerry, he's saying he's a football guy. You can hear it in his voice. I'm a football guy.
Yeah, he's convinced himself he is.
He convinced himself. And we don't see that because we see football teams, like I said, the Ravens, the Seahawks, they don't play around. They just made a kick-ass trade and got your boy from the Jaguars.
Even a team that suck an ass this year, Minnesota, San Francisco, L.A.
They don't wait.
They don't. The Dolphins, the Colts. Even if the deals they make are not necessarily what I agree with, which I clowned on the Colts for trading away their quarterback stock for an IDL. But the fact of the matter is, they did it. They're not sitting on their hands thinking, Jerry Jones on the Dallas Cowboys. We got the Dallas Cowboys, and all we got to do is get in that tournament, and here we go. No, dude, no, you're a bad team, and you've been a bad team, and the only reason you weren't a bad team is the quarterback that you refused to sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you went about it all wrong signing the other people before signing your guy who basically brought you to this point.
You want to talk about the salary cap when you sign the running back and the linebacker early.
2 years early.
I'm not trying to hear that shit at all, dude.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hear it either. And you didn't have to sign Jalen. No. That wasn't a major thing. Let's keep it real. Who was really going to go after Jalen, still seeing that leg like that? Like, keep it real. Who was really going to sign him to a crazy amount of money at that time?
Maybe Bill O'Brien, but then he got fired. Like, they have this idea of what Jalen is. And it stemmed pre-draft when their doctor did the operation and they're talking about, his nerve's going to grow back. Your body doesn't regrow parts. You're not a plant. You're not a damn cedar tree. You can't trim a branch off and have it grow back. That's not how this works. He has a disability. And the more they pretend like he doesn't, the longer it's going to hurt the team.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? They need to jump out there and get them a linebacker and stop playing that dumb shit. But you know what?
Trade for Miles Jack then. Give up a 4 for Miles Jack.
I mean, it will instantly, like, here's my thing. Stop. Right now, let's look at the team. We 2-4, and the only thing they're holding on is division. Dallas ain't going no Super Bowl with no damn Andy Dalton. So stop playing around and start looking for assets right now. Start looking for pieces right now. Don't sit there and wait until it's week 15, week 16, like they're gonna do. Like they're gonna do, Mike. They're gonna do that. They're not gonna jump in there and get aggressive. I don't feel like they are. They're gonna sit there and say, "We okay. We like our guys. We're in a good place. I know some people don't like this, but we'll be able to bounce back." They keep on feeding that dumb shit that people don't want to hear no more.
Yeah, it's getting, man.
Nobody wants to hear this no more, Mike. You feel me? Like I feel like the Cowboys fans are done hearing the same crap from the Joneses because
at least the people that are smart,
right.
the fan base is full of filthy casuals. So and that's the problem. They're going to get their money.
Mm-hmm.
They're still gonna be in the black at the end every year. It doesn't matter. Even in the pandemic, I'm guarantee you this is gonna be when the reports come out and this, that, and the other. 2021 Forbes reports, the Cowboys are gonna be one of the few sports franchises in the world that still make money in the middle of the pandemic. And
right.
And they're gonna go 4-12. 3-13.
And you know what? Like I said, it's sad because right now you should really be saying, you know what? We're probably not going to do this year. Let's go ahead and start making these moves so we can start building for the future. Your offensive line you need to find out what's up on this offensive line. You need to find out what players are going to be here right now. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think this is the time that you need to say, who we keeping, who we not keeping, who can we make, who's going to be here for the long term. I think this is what you need to really start evaluating right now, because when we really, this is my opinion, Mike, when we really look at that and go back about it, last year it wasn't like Jason Garrett left a 12-14. He didn't leave a 13-3 team. He left an 8-8 team. Okay, and even
in 8-8 with a 12-4 roster.
Exactly, but here's the thing: in 2018, they was 3-5, and then they went on a run. So it wasn't like we were great at that period of time. 2017, missed the playoffs. 2016, you got Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott, who nobody had really seen, so they took the league by storm. They found out, and what happened. But if you look at all of these other years, they really have been mediocre years with Dallas. We haven't had any great teams. And when they had good teams, they choke.
He had a great team in 2016. You had a damn good team in 2016, and your coach cost you the playoff win. He got panicked and he was less prepared for the moment than his rookie quarterback, and you should have fired that son of a bitch on the sideline. You could have won that game. You came back, you scored 18 unanswered against Aaron Rodgers when he was in the zone. 18 unanswered. And then you had Dak spike the ball, gave the ball back to Rodgers, and then he scrambles for 19 seconds, gets smoked by Jeffy, still holds on to the ball for some god-awful reason, and hits Jared Cook down the sideline, and that's all she wrote. Yeah. That's Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett gets you just far enough to break your damn heart.
But you know what? That's on management's fault for you bringing him in, because y'all wanted him to be the boy wonder.
It absolutely is. And, we talk about, we need to trade for this, and we should get this coach, and here's what they need to do, and this, that, and the other. But, at the end of the day, it's the damn Jones boys.
It is.
The damn Jones boys. And they are any quarterback, any head coach, any player that comes to this team is going to have to overcome the Jones boys to have any sort of shot at winning football. They're going to straddle you with a bad kicker. They'll probably have a bad head coach. They're going to have, they're not going to make a trade at the deadline to get the team any better because they refuse to acknowledge defensive tackle or safety play. And you're going to have to go into the offseason with 2 flat tires. Like every time this team has went to the offseason, besides 2016. The 2016 is the best chance. Man, I'm 35. I can't remember the Super Bowls. 2016 is the best roster this team has had that I can remember. And you completely shit the bed with that coach, and the Jones boys let it happen, and they brought him back 3 more years. That's just unacceptable. I don't know how you can have any faith in his organization when they do stuff like that. That head coach cost you a chance to probably win the Super Bowl. The Cowboys were awesome that year. Dak, people want to say, oh, it was Zeke and this, that, and the other. Dak Prescott was converting 57% of his third and longs as a rookie quarterback in the 4th round. What else do you want from the guy?
We was riding that wave.
With a wide receiver that ran sometimes routes, and a washed-up Jason Witten, and then a gimped-up Cole Beasley. Oh man, it's so upsetting to talk about how do you do anything with this team when you got those guys running it.
I got a question from Jim Laws before we get out of here, big dog.
Yeah.
He says, James, ask him why he thinks they continue to devalue the safety position as a whole.
Because they think safety, when they hear safety, they hear hitter, they hear headhunter, they hear Roy Williams, they hear Cam Chancellor. They have a different idea of safety, of what the safety position currently is in the NFL. Your current safety position is your Buda Bakers, your Minka Fitzpatricks, your Tyrann Matthews, your Devin McCourty's, your Harrison's, those guys, the guys that can play the ball and they can break up a seam route, and they don't wait till you catch the ball to blow you up. Which is those positions, the position they think when they hear safety, that position is now illegal in the NFL. Cam Chancellor's illegal. Roy Williams is illegal. You cannot play that anymore. You have to play the ball, and you have to be a borderline cornerback, but you don't have the speed to play cornerback, so you get moved to safety. That's what it is. And they think Roy Williams, they think Cam Chancellor, they think Dante Whitner, they think these headhunters that you can no longer play in the NFL, so they think it's still worthless, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna agree with you with that. I just feel like they just aren't football guys, in my opinion. Just bouncing off one of my homies, Law Nation. I just don't feel like they're football guys, and they're great businessmen. They took the Cowboys from 500 million to over $1 billion, so they're great businessmen. But we're talking about the football side of it. The problem is they will not stay out the way. They will not. No matter what we don't hear and see, we will never see them out the way. And as long as they're in the way, I just feel like this will be a circle that you keep bumping your head in all the time.
It's a glass ceiling.
Yeah, it's just not going to change. You can get the talent in here. It doesn't matter. You can play a little good, but it is always going to be falling short. And then when players leave here, they go somewhere else and be successful. I don't feel like that's by chance. I don't feel like that just happens. You get what I'm saying? I feel like there's a cloud over the Cowboys organization.
Oh, they're cursed.
You know what I'm saying? And people think, oh, this is the easy route to say. Nobody's trying to say it. But after you keep on looking at it for so long, it's just like you can have the damn greatest talent and we still don't win. You know what I mean? So there's got to be something bigger than that. But let me give me your final thoughts on this Washington game. Do you think the Cowboys win this game?
No. I think. Okay, let me rephrase that. If Ron Rivera goes out there and plays textbook, basic football and lets Kyle Allen drop back and try to throw the football around, you may have a puncher's chance. But if they run any type of that speed out of the backfield that they have with Gibson and McLaurin, you don't have a snowball's chance in hell in this game. Any type of speed, especially off of misdirection out of the backfield, is a guaranteed 5 yards against this defense. Guaranteed at worst.
Because play action and misdirection kill us.
Yeah, Jalen Smith be over there looking down a kaleidoscope, looking at fun out there. What the hell's going on? So any type of that, I don't. That said, I don't want them to. I don't want them to. Why? Why win this game? I feel you, Mike.
You know what I love? I feel the frustration. Let me give a shout out to my guy Jeff Pertee for the $10 holla. Hope you all vote in about 2 weeks. I already about to do that myself, but appreciate the $10 donation. Thank you very much. But I see it all on your face, big dog. I'm feeling it too. But since I'm talking, hey ho, we got another $5 holla from Tyrone Church. He said we so cursed we can't take we can't. He said we so cursed we can't even take away. If that ain't the truth, Big Mike, if that ain't the truth right now, that's real talk. But just listen to you talk.
It's like Jason Garrett's last game. We went out there and got that damn moral victory and dropped our draft spot 5 points.
Man, it's like I feel the frustration, but it's like it's almost the problem. It's like you don't know what to say. Like all you can do is shake your head because you're so frustrated because every time the Cowboys have an opportunity to take a hold of something, they can't. Just like we both talked about this off air, the NFC is not super strong at all. The NFC East is terrible. Every time there's a time for Dallas to take a hold of something and run with it and be able to show what they are, they never do it. And it's got to be bigger than coaching, big dog. And we talked about it. We know what it is. And I've been saying it for the last few weeks as well. We curse, dog. It's the curse of you let Jimmy go. You did it the wrong way. I don't care how you spent it.
Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor. These football gods of the Cowboys.
Yes, the football gods. Yes, put him in the Ring of Honors, and the football gods will forgive you, Jerry Jones. They will forgive you, and then maybe that curse will go away. Put Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor. I don't give a hell if anybody's like, is that what y'all really talking about? Yes. That's what I'm really talking about. That's going to break the curse because
what the hell else we gonna do?
We don't got no other choice. Another $5 holler by Tyrone Church. Appreciate you. Cowboys gonna win by 14. Just take it one by one. We'll see. I don't know if we win by 14, dog. I can't jump out there and say that because they got too good of a defense. And maybe I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a lot better with that because I know we can score. But now you got Andy Dalton. That 30-some points that we were averaging is going to drop down to a 17-point a game now. So now we're going to struggle to score points.
You're getting 3 guaranteed turnovers a game out of Andy. Guarantee you that.
So, I can't go by that. And this defense is going to keep Washington in the game the whole damn game. That front against Cam Irving going against Chase Young, Terrence Steele going against Montez Sweat. I don't think so.
Can we laugh at the Washington football team for taking the edge rusher when they could have got a quarterback though? Can we at least end on that note?
What did they go with? They went with that. They went with that front. Hey, Mike, didn't they say, let's go with the front because the front matters. We ain't worrying about this. The front matters. They went and got the front, and what is the front doing? It's keeping them in games. Even though they don't have a great record, but let's keep it real. Washington's defense keeps them in games.
Yeah, and they'll totally destroy Baltimore or Kansas City if they meet in the Super Bowl.
Man, wow, just crazy. Shout out to my guy Manny Ramos for the $4.99 holler. Appreciate you for the donation. Appreciate everybody for the donations. Hey, we're gonna get off of here, big dog. You don't think we're gonna win this game? If we don't win this game, you think a head's gonna roll? Mike Nolan might be out there, and then we probably team tank, huh?
You have to do something. You're gonna have to do something. That. They're probably already thinking about firing somebody, to be honest. I mean, how could you?
I think if all signs ain't pointing to Mike Nolan because we know how the Jones is doing, but they'll make him the fall guy because they want the Cowboys to shut up. They want Cowboys fans to shut up.
They love making injuries as excuses. So, who knows?
We'll see.
Shout out to I hope Kellen survives this year.
I don't care what people can have their own opinions, but I'm not going to blame Kellen Moore on this because in 2 years since he's been it might not be super pretty, but I just feel like it's something over top of that. But when we look at the last 2 years, Dallas has one of the top ranked offenses the last 2 years under Kellen Moore.
If people want to talk about how they don't see anything different, like I just I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that, but maybe schedule an appointment with your eye doctor and then pull up the Game Pass and then see the misdirection, see the play actions we're running, see the route combinations on third down. I want you to see what they're running on second down. I want you to see how they're running the tight ends up the seam. I want you to see how they're using the inline blockers differently than just being a third down dive. The offense is different. But there's only so much you can do when you're so decimated. You cannot run these fancy misdirections and off tackles and stuff like that when you're missing literally 3 All-Pro offensive linemen. 3. You're on your 5th and 7th offensive or 6th and 7th offensive tackle right now. It's just you can't. You just can't do the fancy smoke and mirror stuff that you want to do. These guys have been playing together for 3 days. What do you want to do? And the offense has been the only reason whatsoever you had any chance in any of these games. And people want to hang that on Kellen. Man, that dog don't hunt. I'm sorry, I can't go there.
I can't either. I'm not going to agree with them. I haven't been hating on Kellen at all. I've been staying behind him. I feel like that's the easiest thing to do, to quickly blame a coach because the team is losing. But like you said, when your offensive line is totally decimated, you lost Tyron Smith, Leo Collins, now Zach Martin's out. You lost Travis Frederick at the beginning of the year. Then you had Joe Looney gone. You got guys who you never even seen sniff the field, and now you're working with a quarterback who is not great by any means. What do you expect that you do? You think this right? You feel me? And 16 touchdowns and 14 interceptions, and he has 118 interceptions over his whole damn career. And he is a high INT guy. Only had 2 years where he's had under double-digit interceptions, man. So come on. Well, we already know he's a turnover king. And if you have a team, if you're a turnover king and you don't have a great offensive line, what's going to happen? Turnovers, just like it happened in the Arizona game. Nobody's trying to wish that shit on Andy Dalton, but we're looking at the proof in the pudding. The tape shows that when he gets pressured or when you put the game on Andy Dalton, he chokes. It's proven.
There's over a decade track period of it. There's over a decade. It shows you that when the dude has to bail you out, he absolutely cannot do it. He can't.
Right.
Right. And they gave him what is $110 million. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm upset. I'm
all right, y'all. Well, hey, let them know where they can find you at before we head out of here, big dog.
So I'm only on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @NotToBeTried, like the Jerry Jones says, @NotToBeTried. And relative to Daniel Jones just took off 65 yards downfield, and it's fuck filthy forever. Y'all have a good night.
All right, man. Hey, we appreciate you, big dog. I'll talk to you tomorrow on Twitter because I know you're going to go hella ham on Twitter. And you know what we going to do. Burgers and Blitzes every Thursday night. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Talk to you soon.
Let it go.
Hey, I'm about to head off here. Appreciate Mike and wife for jumping in for Burgers and Blitzes. Another good talk. He always brings he's not the pessimistic guy. I think he's more the real life guy. I think he's more the guy that's going to be like real life, like not like a fake the funk. But he's agreeing with me. I just feel like we cursed, man. We just really a cursed team. We don't have guys that are really football men. We got businessmen that are really running the organization, and they're not going to stay out the way. And as long as they are the top guys that are saying we're making the final decisions on everything, I think we're still going to deal with this no matter what talent we get, no matter who we bring in, no matter what coordinators, what coach, the same thing continually keeps happening. And I don't want to say that's just the easy thing for us to say, but it's just the proof. Look at the facts. The facts show it. And until they move out the way, which ain't probably never going to happen, Dallas is just going to keep running these circles no matter what kind of talent we get. We can make a trade here. We can make a trade there. We can do this. We can do that. But it's fundamentally broken from the top. And as long as they keep putting their hands in everything, and they still are, even if they ain't talking in the media, they still having their hands in every single little thing, it's always going to be the same damn thing. And I don't know, man. It's just really kind of frustrating to be a Cowboy fan. Because there's nothing you can do. Shout out to my guy Tyrone Church for the donations tonight. Really appreciate you. Says Jalen Smith sounds like a trade away player. I mean, you know what? The organization loves him because they love his story and what he brings to the table. And you know, like I said, you know, Jerry Jones took over the team with they were worth like $500 million, like in '88, '89. I was watched there. They missed 5 straight playoffs, I believe 3 straight. With Tom Landry, they fell off, and you know he purchased the team cheap by owner standards, and Dallas Cowboys name had really depreciated, and he brought the Cowboys name back on the business side. He's done a lot of things for the NFL. So from that side of it, I don't hate on Jerry Jones, and the players say he wants to win, and I don't hate on that part of it. But like I said, just because you play some football don't mean you like the ultimate football guy. And when you have your hand in every single little thing, and whenever somebody's talking to you, you are always the ones giving the messages and this and that. And I just feel like, you know, I don't see other organizations doing this. And then I see other organizations not just talking about it, they doing it. And I hear a lot of talk from Jerry, and I hear a lot of talk from Steven. I hear a lot of them talking in the media all the damn time. but sometimes I don't see a lot of the action. You know what I'm saying? I hear a lot of the talk, but I don't hear the action. And I feel like that's just what the Dallas Cowboys are, a lot of the talk, but we ain't a lot of action right now. And it starts from the top. And from the top, there's some people that's always talking, but we ain't really making the moves though. We ain't really consistently winning. You know what I mean? It's a lot of talk and it sounds all good, but talk is cheap. And as I said before, in 24 years since since Jimmy Johnson left, if we get first overall, I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. If Trevor Lawrence come out, I love some Dak Prescott, but you would be crazy in your head if you got a Trevor Lawrence for cheap to not do that. I mean, as much as I love Dak, that just they're not. And here's the thing: I don't believe that Jerry Jones is. I don't believe the Joneses either. When they talk about, oh, Dak is our future, this and that, let the Cowboys be in shambles and be a 3-13 team, and then maybe a top quarterback is out there that you can get for cheap. I don't believe the Joneses. I don't believe that they'll sign Dak Prescott. They didn't want to sign him now, and they were talking about COVID was the reason and this and that. I don't believe them. If Dallas has a terrible record, I feel like they're going to go after a quarterback and get a quarterback for cheap and probably package Dak for some picks. I mean, that would probably be the thing to do because you're not going to pay that quarterback that kind of money when you keep on crying about you want to build your team and your team is terrible if you have that type of record. So I just don't believe the Joneses will sign Dak Prescott. And it very well could be Dak's last time and playing the Cowboys uniform. I've already gotten in my head. I'm keeping it real. I've already gotten in my head that this could be the last of already Dak Prescott. So I haven't been geeked on him being here anything past this year because I don't trust the Joneses. I don't believe anything they say. I don't believe anything they say in the media. And I just don't believe anything they're saying about Dak Prescott either. So, whatever. If we have a really bad year, then I just don't feel like Dak Prescott's going to be here. I just feel like something will come up and they'll make some kind of excuse and they'll say whatever. That's just the way that Joneses operate. That's what they do. And I feel like we're just going to go in a circle and keep beating our heads and running our heads into the wall as long as the same thing keeps going on from the top. And I don't feel like it's going to change anytime soon. That's just what it is. So it's just very depressing right now because it's just the same old thing. And I'm tired of the same old thing. I'm tired of it. And I just don't feel like it's going to change. And I really do feel like Mike McCarthy is the man for the job. I think he is a good coach. I don't think he's I think he can do everything that he needs to do, but I just feel like that fundamental stuff that's broken from the top just really infiltrates things and really just messes things up. So we'll see. I could be wrong, but talk to you guys soon. Tomorrow is Friday. May get a show in tomorrow. I'm doing a football game tomorrow. South High versus Mifflin. They're doing their inter squad playoffs because any team that played in the regular state playoffs got knocked out are able to play in the city playoffs since they didn't have a season. So I'm gonna go call me a game tomorrow. So I don't know if I'm gonna go live, but definitely Saturday. My guy Jay Tuck, if we can arrange that during the day, me and my guy Jay Tuck for Cowboys fans only, and then my dog, Boss Cowboys on every Saturday. We missed the last Saturday because I was out of town for my birthday, but this Saturday, Boss Cowboys, our final thoughts before they head into Washington. So we'll see what happens and we'll see what goes on. Like I said, if y'all heard me last week, I said once Dak Prescott got hurt, I no longer had any expectations for this team any longer because I don't feel like Andy Dalton is a championship quarterback. I don't feel like Andy Dalton will take the Dallas Cowboys to the Super Bowl. If that were to happen, I can definitely grow, but I just don't feel like Andy Dalton is taking the Cowboys to no Super Bowl. He could win some games, and he was a backup, and that's what I wanted him to be. But him being the main guy, I just don't feel like he's taking the Cowboys anywhere. I just don't feel like we're going anywhere this season, just in my opinion. It's a week-by-week thing, so we'll see. But I just feel like, you know what? really start need to looking about the future right now and really start getting shrewd in some decision making as far as what they're going to do with contracts, players. They need to get shrewd with some things. But like I said, as long as they're in the way, making those decisions, it's going to be the same thing. So we'll see. So I appreciate everybody that was in the feed. Shout out to everybody. Jim Laws, Bobby McLean, Manny Ramos. What's up, Quest? How you doing? Laurel, Sad Cowboys fan, DJ Cobbs. That's what I am right now. Um, DJ Cobbs, how you doing? VSCH, what's up with you? How you doing? Who else we got in? Tyrone Church, we appreciate you for all the donations today. Appreciate Manny Ramos for the donation today. Appreciate Jeff Perty for the donation today. $10 holla. Appreciate everybody. Tariq Salim, Cedric Fournette up in the feed. Like Gambino, appreciate Isaac Hampton, the U, Joseph Peewee, James Gary, appreciate Brandon Boyce. Appreciate you guys. Who we have here that was in the Facebook. Dana Green, Sean Parker, appreciate you. Everybody that was in Facebook, appreciate all you guys. We'll get it in this week. Like I said, if I don't go live tomorrow, I will be going live Saturday. Hopefully, we'll do a double header with my guy Jay Tuck early in the day, and then on the nightcap, Boss Cowboys finishing off, and then you know how we do on Sunday with the late night hype with the Washington game. And hopefully, we can get that dub, or we'll see what happens. But salutes to everybody. Talk to you soon. Big Game James. I'm out. Peace.